science lovers. Today we are going to talk about how certain bacteria are able to change soil temperatures. On soil surfaces, the temperature depends on different factors, and one of them is soil albedo. Soil albedo is basically the reflectance of the soil. So for example, an albedo value of 0 would mean 0 reflectance. So in other words, the surface would absorb all of the light that reaches it. On the other hand, the higher the value of albedo, the more radiation is reflected from the surface. In temperate climates that are characterized by moderate temperatures instead of extremely hot or cold temperatures, soil albedo depends mainly on vegetation. But what happens in arid lands? What is responsible for changing soil albedo in lands without vegetation? The answer is bacteria. Specifically, a type of bacteria called cyanobacteria that are able to get energy through photosynthesis, a process that we have all heard of because it's also how plants get their energy. These researchers have studied the bacterial communities, the temperature, and the pigments associated to biological soil crusts of different maturity, from immature, recent, lightly coloured soil crusts to very old and mature, darkly coloured soil crusts. They saw that the immature crusts had very low amounts of pigments, and this amount of pigments increased as the biocrust became more and more mature. They also saw that out of all of the pigments, a specific one, called cytonemin, was responsible for most of the light absorbance in the mature biocrust. This means that the decrease in the soil albedo, or the decrease in reflectance, that was observed in the mature biocrusts can be explained by the large amount of absorbance caused by the cytonemin. And one of the consequences of this absorbance is that the soil temperatures increased in up to 10 degrees Celsius. And this change in temperatures is associated to the change in the bacterial communities of the biocrusts, from bacteria that are sensitive to high temperatures and that are found in immature biocrusts with lower temperatures, to bacteria that are tolerant to high temperatures and that can be found in the mature biocrusts that display higher temperatures. So I want you to keep in mind that bacteria that produce pigments can play a very important role in changing soil temperatures, especially in soils without vegetation, and that this change in temperature is associated to changes in the bacterial communities, from thermosensitive bacteria in high reflectance biocrusts to thermotolerant bacteria in soils with low amounts of reflectance. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, you are welcome to give me a thumbs up, comment, or subscribe to my channel. And as always, I have left the link to the paper in the description, and I will see you next week. Bye!